got next on this, we'll get into the top 5 producers, but before we do that, Tina, before you bring that up, I'm actually going to brag on everybody that did over 3,000 or more this past week. We got Nathan Rodriguez, 3,351, Jeff Billman, 3,430, Joe Slavinic, 3,571, Philip Lawton, 3,790, Jordan Gillum, 3,963, Val Zarn, 4,023, Jeff Miller, 4,212, Rocco Pearson, 4,821, Jordan Oliveras, 5,135, James Martinez, 5,601, Matt Costa, 6,080. Getting into our top 5. If you ever wondered if this is possible, it shows you it's possible. Miss Betsy Barr, 6,276, number 4 spot. Stephen Tickle at 8,025. There you go, Stephen. Number 3, Mr. Brian Howe, solid as a rock, 8,618. Number 2, Andy Ballantyne. Andy Ballantyne has been killing it lately, Tina. 9,869. Way to go, buddy. Super proud of you, Andy. And number 1, Mr. DJ Robinson on nothing but B5 leads, living in the great state of California, running the East Coast. Way to go, DJ. Super proud of you, buddy. That's awesome. All right, agents that did 10 or more interviews this past week. Jake Schaefer, I'm proud of that. That's a brand new agent coming out here in his first couple of weeks, already interviewing over 10 or more in a week. Way to go, Jake. I think he's hired, Tina, a couple of people. Brian House, Samantha Case, Betsy Barr, Joe Martinez, Jeff Miller, Cameron Miller, James Martinez, Barry Davis, Jeff Billman, Jared Gillum, Mark Newbauer, and Dustin Hensley. Proud of everybody that's on that leaderboard. And if you're not on that leaderboard and you're an AO, you probably won't be an AO very long, because you got to get on that leaderboard if you want to grow a business. It's just is what it is. And if you don't want to get on that leaderboard, volunteer yourself out of leadership, because you're not leading people if you're not on that. Get on that leaderboard. Agents that wrote their first application this month, or this past week. Is that right, Tina?
Yes.
So Denise Isabel Magusha Nahum. Can you pronounce that for me, Tina? You go for it.
Nahum Wilhura.
Oh, yes. Actually, I think you nailed it. Dan Rodriguez and Elise Eon. Way to go, all you brand new writers out there. Top recruiters this past week. We got top recruiters. James Martinez, Joe Martinez, Sam Case, Dal Brown, Jeff Billum, Kevin Wilder, and Ken Thompson, all with 1. Way to go, everybody there. And we had number 1 was us. Because we do interviews, right, Tina? If you want to grow a business, do interviews, right? So good stuff right there. All right, we got the base shop, 18,154. Way to go, everybody there. Martinez base. Way to go, Martinez base, 21,546. I was wondering who was going to be number 1. Were you, Tina? Were you curious about that? I was curious about that. The Miller Agency, 43,389. Jeffrey Miller and their team, you want to talk about recruiting? They recruited 32 people last month alone, constantly putting a ton of people on that 10 or more interviews in a week thing. And then guess what? The results show for it, and it tends to grow a business. 43,389. Proud of you, Jeff Miller, and that organization. Super proud of you guys. That's awesome. All over everybody. All right. Top agencies in building. Gillum and Zarn agencies, 1 recruit. We got Martinez base with 2. We got the Miller Agency with 3. And the base shop with 4. All right. Yay, base shop. Way to go, base shop. That's good stuff. We need to have base shop numbers up there, right, Miss Tina? We're working hard on it, right?
We are
week. Working hard each and every week. Some news and notes to share with the team. We have some exciting news on meetings coming up. First, write this down. These are some regional meetings that are different parts of the country. I'm going to go over with them. Phoenix, Arizona, guys. We got Phoenix, Arizona. That is March 10th. Make sure if you're in the Southwest United States, 3 or 4 5-hour radius, get down there to that meeting. That is March 10th. I believe, Tina, we have the address and everything on our Band app. Is that correct? Boom. So it's on the Band app if you want to check that out. Also, March 23rd, we have the Knoxville, Tennessee meeting, and Southern California coming up from 12 to 2. that is March 26th. We go, everybody out there. Hey, March 26th, make sure you plug it into that. Tina, should I go ahead and give out some of the April meetings?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give out that. We've got April 7th. We've got our Idaho meeting. Make sure you guys are plugging into that. And then we're going to have some more meeting announcements regarding the Phoenix meeting that month. But we're going to meet with some of our agency owners today after the call and finalize some dates for that. However, we do have April 20th. That's going to be Knoxville, Tennessee, which is our Southeast Regional meeting. Making sure you get plugged in and get out there to these folks, because these are great training opportunities, great opportunities for you to meet people that you're in business with, grow your relationships. We know if you grow your relationships here, you can grow a great business and you can get your business headed in the right direction. So, Tina, was there something else on you on news and notes you were going to go over with us today?
Yes, I want to share my screen again.
I love it.
And we are
Show us
going
what
to
you got,
talk
Tina.
about our file vault and some new things that have gone into our file vault in Quility U. So
All right.
if you go to Quility U on your dashboard, this is where you'll end up, the training center. If you go down to file vault and click there, you're going to have all of these files show up. The Cook Direct Agency is where I want to focus on today. You're going to click there. It's going to have some files that Chris and Lauren and the AO team have chosen to put in here for our new agents. And the newest ones are these videos of mortgage protection appointments. So you're going to, if you click there, you're going to see a video. And it's going to be Elijah going through an actual appointment. Of course, it's not with a real client, but it is going through those motions for you. And then also there is final expense appointment. So it's the Gillums in here going over that. And it's an actual video of an appointment for training purposes. And then also the critical time period appointment. You're going to have that one with also the Gillums and Joe Martinez. So it's going to be really good critical information for new agents. And I wanted to make sure everyone knew where to find those in the file vault under Cook Direct Agency.
Make sure leaders take notes of that. That's updated in our file vault. That's for you guys to delegate, where you can show a brand new agent, hey, they have a question about critical period, boom, put them there. If they have a question about final expense, great, you've got a place for them and a landing page. If they have a question about running an appointment, have them watch Elijah Carujo. He kills it in the field. He's 24 years old, but guess what, Tina? Today he turned 25. Happy birthday, Elijah.
Not so much of a baby anymore.
Yeah, he's not a baby anymore. I think back in the day, I realized I was growing old, Tina, when I couldn't qualify for the real world anymore. And I think the real world was 18 to 24. So 25, you couldn't qualify for it. He probably doesn't even know what the real world is, but that was on MTV. That was something I followed back in the day.
Back in the day, Chris.
Hey, it's back in the day, buddy. But 25, that's not too shabby. And last year, he deposited $167,000 in his bank account running appointments with us at the ripe old age of 24. Do you think you could learn how to run a mortgage protection appointment from him? And he's showing you live how to do it. So good stuff. Make sure, live recorded, how to run an appointment. So make sure you guys are plugging into that. And I love the critical period concept, because a lot of people don't understand that. It's showing you the value of how to help a family that not necessarily you're going to cover their full amount of the mortgage, but you're going to be able to go in. It's going to be about 60 to 80% of the appointments you run, whether it's on bonus leads or A leads, that you're going to be running a critical period concept anyway, because the majority of families we protect won't be covered their full coverage of the mortgage. And it's going to help you add value to those families and how to explain that to them. If you go in there and watch those videos and take part of that training, just make sure you make that a part of your training success. All right, Tina, any other news and notes on that, anybody? All right, Slingshot through. All right, one other news and notes right here. We have Slingshot. That's the new agent bonus program. So if you're a brand new agent, get excited. You can go from a 70 to an 85% contract in 3 months. All you got to do go through there, learn the Slingshot bonus. It's a new bonus program designed to get new agents slingshotted up the raise program. And you guys have that extended now all the way. It was going to end in February. It didn't end in February. It's going through, it's going to go through August in our national conference at Denver, Colorado. Make sure you're taking advantage of that. I would give anything when I first started. I started out in this industry on a 55% contract. A lot of you may have never heard of a 55% contract. So I would have given anything in my first 3 months to have been slingshotted up to an 85% contract. Plus, whatever you issue pay, you get a 10% bonus off of. So it's literally like starting at a 10% higher contract, and you get to get raises along with that each and every one of those first 3 months. So make sure you're paying attention to that. If you're a new agent and you're writing your first applications last week or this week, I know we had 4 new writers last week. We already have another new writer this week in Jake Schaefer. I'm just saying, here's what I'm saying this to you, you 5, right? Is know the Slingshot bonus and don't miss any of it, because it's just going to help you make extra income that none of us that came before you ever had the advantage of. So you have such a huge advantage. Go in there, read it, understand that Slingshot bonus. And if you have any questions once you're done, please give a call to your agency owner, your upline that knows about it, so they can go over it with you and completely understand it. Because I'm telling you, it's going to be huge for you. It's going to be huge. Yep. So it's going to be huge. All right, Miss Tina, if no other news and notes from you, and I think we've got everybody muted, so that's a good thing. I think who we got on the line here today? I think we got Val Zarn on here today, Tina. Val Zarn's making an appearance.
I'm here.
You know, he's the newly formed black belt. What was that, dude? Are you a black belt now?
Hold on. First Q is the last step before black belt, just to clarify.
So you're not black belt, but you're on the verge of black belt.
Yeah, counts 10-1 in the Q, what they call the Q grades.
Yeah.
And there's the Dan grades. So 10-1, and then you count up.
Well, I know this. Whatever levels there are between that and not knowing karate, you're ahead of me. So way to go, buddy. Hey, congratulations to you, sir. That is awesome, buddy. I saw that on the thing. I was happy for you. I know that's one of your happy places. And talking about happiness, you know, like you find happiness in the desert. You find happiness out there, you know, driving your vehicles, your motorcycles in the desert, and also karate. Me, I find happiness playing basketball. I played basketball for an hour and something this morning. I was 0 for 5. Like every team I played on today, Val, we lost, but I was still happy.
Yeah.
I was still happy. But I'm telling you, man, it's an endorphin rush I get from playing that. And I know you find happiness in different things. And that correlates to, what is our book of the month this month, Val?
It's called The Happiness Advantage.
That's right, buddy. And it's just something we know correlates to your advantage here in business. A lot of people think in life that you got to work hard, become successful, and then happiness comes. What this book is really teaching you, Val, right, buddy, is that first we find happiness, and then after we find happiness, it's almost giving us a gateway to go find success, right, buddy?
Absolutely.
And so, buddy, I'm going to unleash the beast, man. Tell us who you are, where you from, how long you've been here, buddy.
All right. Good morning, everybody. My name is Val Zarn, direct to the man, the myth, the legend, Chris Cook. Good friend of mine I've known for a long time, and so happy, so blessed that you called me. You thought enough of me to call me that day 4.5 years ago, and life's been different. It's been better. I've been much happier. And today I get the privilege and honor of covering The Happiness Advantage, our February book of the month. And I'll be covering basically part 1 and number 1 of the 7 principles through page 61, Chris. Is that specific enough?
I love it, buddy. Yeah, no, I love that.
All right.
Specificity.
Perfect. So this book will teach us that there are a set of tools, there's 7 of them, that no matter the profession or calling, you can use these to achieve more every single day. They can help you overcome obstacles, reverse bad habits, become more efficient and productive in life and work. Sounds like a tall ask, right? But here's the thing, it's not just learning it or reading it, it's applying it, right, Chris?
That's right.
We got to take what we learned, take something you learned today in those 10 pages and apply it. Don't you always say that? All the time, right? So here's what they will not do. Okay, they will not teach you to paint a happy face or use positive thinkings to wish away your problems, or just to pretend your problems don't exist. That's even worse. So it's about being realistic in the present while maximizing our potential for the future. And it's about learning how to cultivate the right mindset and behaviors. So we talk a lot about mindset and behaviors all the time, right? So it's actually been empirically proven. There's been studies that it does fuel greater success and fulfillment. It is not the belief that we don't need to change. It's the realization that we can. Okay. We need to realize that we can change. Very interesting studies on this, Chris, called neuroplasticity. Look into it. We can rewire our brains. So they give an example of really interesting example study that they did at Harvard, where they put a group of students that were just completely stressed out in a room and gave them a task to do, and they weren't allowed to talk. And the ending result of that was a lower performance. And what we discover is that negative attitudes, negative mindsets, just being generally just kind of stressed out, it can spread like secondhand smoke. And when they said that, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so true. You ever had someone just walk in the room and they're just kind of negative? They don't say a word, like you can just tell by how they're walking or the look on their face and how it affects you. Whether we like it or not, it affects us, right? So we got to be careful who we associate with. And we embrace this in our core values. You know, we work as a true team and strive to be a positive influence, right? We talk about this one a lot. We work as a true team. Do you guys get that sense of team here? Man, that's what I love about this. And we strive to be a positive influence. So what's the advantage of being happy? I think we've already kind of covered that, right? When our mindset and mood are positive, we are smarter and more motivated. Therefore, then, right, the byproduct of that is basically greater success, and happiness is basically at the center of that. So happiness is at the center, success revolves around that. So here's something that I've always kind of been acutely aware of. There's something that's called selective perception. Anyone ever heard of that? Raise your hand if you've heard of selective perception. It's fascinating, okay? Because you ever buy, Jordan, you bought a gray 4-door car, right? If I remember right, is it gray? Did you all of a sudden see gray 4-door cars? Oh my gosh, it's like everybody has a gray 4-door Camry. What happened? I just bought one, and then I must be really cool because now everyone has one, right? So it's this this acute awareness of being around you. So we can rewire our brains to be more aware of opportunities. We can change that mindset to have a mindset of expectation, right? So if we're expecting to fail, guess what we're going to gravitate towards? If we're expecting to succeed, we're going to gravitate towards success. What I find, Chris, is when I work, it takes that slight edge, that little bit of extra belief that gives me the motivation to make that extra 5 calls after 5 o'clock, right? So the 5 after 5 mentality, right? Now we don't quit at 5, but it's the same mentality, right? 5 after 5. So make that the extra effort. And what's crazy is that you can make deposits in bank A. Anyone ever notice this? Raise your hands up if you know this. You're doing work over here, and then just magically out of nowhere, something pops up over here. The client calls you back and says they want to go ahead, or something like that. One seemingly had nothing to do with the other, but it's about rewiring our minds and getting that mindset of expectation, right? So that's, let's see here, make sure I didn't miss anything. Oh, one of my favorite subjects too, it's called psychosomatics, Chris. We talked about this at conference. And it's really simple, folks. What the mind harbors, the body manifests, right? People say why are you so happy, Val? Sometimes it's like, well, you said endorphins, right? And they said, and Chris, I knew you were on something. You know what I mean? I knew you were on something. It's called endorphins. Right? So I'm very blessed, had a 120 day on Saturday. Had huge success in the morning before noon, and got to warm up and get ready to go do my test, and then got my ass kicked. It was great.
Hey, it's funny, like you said, you got your rear kicked in there, and I got my rear kicked in basketball this morning. We're both happy because we're striving towards our best self, right? And that's what they describe happiness in the book. So yeah, sorry, I wasn't trying to interrupt. I just thought it was a good point.
No, that's good. That's my 5 minutes, man. I set a timer.
Oh, no, man, you solid. Well, let's talk about this for a second. I was, as I was looking over the notes that I had in the book, on page 50, they talk about, happiness is not just a mood, it's a work ethic. And in fact, we have far more control over our own emotional well-being than previously believed. A lot of people believe that we're not in control of how we feel. And it's like, we really are. You know what I mean? There's certain things that we can do. And they talked about things, and let's me and you just sort of banter back and forth with this, Val. They talk about some things that you can do. It said maybe, and they even specifically mentioned talking to a friend, playing basketball, petting a dog, or even cleaning your kitchen for some people. That's just, for some people, that's a happiness thing. And that always resonated with me. And then they gave a recap of just specific things that you could do. 5 minutes of meditation a day, right? Just 5 minutes of meditation a day. Here's something, Val, and maybe, I don't know, but this is something that always has really spoke to me. And I think I've found happiness in this business in that, where I think people can get mired down with the daily grind. But I've always found happiness in this portion is something to look forward to. I've always had something on my calendar to look forward to. Is there anything that you've got that you've always looked forward to that just that's been good for you?
Here's the thing. That's an absolute huge one for me. Like, obviously I love to travel, do different things, even if it's just a quick overnight trip to the desert or whatever. And I'm just tracking you, man. Like, everything you're saying, it's like I got highlighted. There's number 2 right there.
Right.
Look forward to. And that's a big one for me. Use positivity in your surroundings is another one. Exercise, right? It's like, Chris, exercise is huge for, I know, both of us. And something to consider. It's like, if you think about exercising, it's exhausting, right? But do we feel better before or after we exercise? People say, I'm tired, I don't want to exercise. You want to get more energy? Exercise. Right?
Yeah.
You're going to build up your energy levels by actually doing more.
Yeah. It's so many people they have that wrong. It's like, I'm tired, I don't feel like going. It's like, I promise you, when the alarm goes off at 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the morning, I don't feel like going to play basketball. Like, there's rarely a time that I'm like, heck yeah, glad the alarm went off at this time. Now I'm fired up. Once I go do it, however, the rush that I get from doing it and accomplishing something and getting my body going is so much energy that gives me throughout the day. So I love that we talk about that. Something to look forward to, and I'm going to use a couple of examples of this in this business, how it can manifest itself. Something to look forward to, because remember, we've always talked about without vision, a man or woman shall perish, right? And it perishes in business or in life in general, right? And here's where we say, I always look forward to something here because I was always building a business. If I was only stuck in personal production world, I don't know necessarily if I have something to look forward to. I have something to look forward to if I'm a personal producer and I'm building a business, because eventually I'm out of the field and I'm building a big company that outlasts me and leaves a legacy for my family. So that could manifest itself and be an example. Also, something else that I've always done, reward punish. If I made dials today for recruiting, or I made dials today for personal production, I would reward myself, have about 3 to 4 days out, Val, where if I hit my numbers, I was going to play golf, or I was going on a trip with the family for a couple of days. Does anything like that resonate with you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. What comes to mind, I know you asked what resonates with me. What comes to mind with Brian is like, I'm going to go write 10,000 on Monday and Tuesday. And if I do, I'm going to go to Cabo for a week. It's like, boom. If not, I'm not going to go. So he wrote 10,000 in like 4 hours or whatever crazy thing it was.
Right.
I don't know what it was, but for sure, having that very specific goal, like, we have a tendency as humans to move towards something we want or something away from what we don't want. Right. Hey, whatever gets you going. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and I think that institutes both. It's like, I want to go play golf. I don't want to stay home.
Right.
And blah, blah, blah. So you can kind of tickle both of those senses. Right. And,
and it can make a more positive effect on your environment of what you are currently doing. That maybe you can make it mundane if you want to, but it won't be mundane if you make it fun in those categories. Right. Yeah. And it's really all about an active conscientious effort in doing that. And here's another thing, Val, speak to this. So conscious acts of kindness. I know that I've intentionally, like, man, I'm like, what can I do? I got to make somebody, I'm at a restaurant, I got to make somebody smile that's waiting on me, or something like that. Or it can be a donation that I'm making that day, but something conscientiously that I know positively affected another human being that day. It makes you feel better too, right? It's the act
Oh,
of giving.
absolutely. And given, and what's really fun, Chris, is to give in a way that there's no way that they can pay you back. Like if it's to a stranger, they don't know it was you, like, you affected that person's day.
Right. Yeah. In a good way,
cool.
man. Yeah.
In a good way.
And I just love calling people that, normally in the service industry that nobody calls them by their name. And I know we spoke about this before on the call, but I just love calling people by their name because nobody else acknowledges them, who they are during the day. And that's heartbreaking to me. And I want to acknowledge them, their importance in the world where they may not necessarily be feeling it right now. And I want them to understand we're all human beings. We're all God's creatures, and we're all striving for a different world. And you're important wherever you are, right? And so that's something that always have resonated with me. Surroundings with a positive picture. Anything that you have in there that like surrounding yourself with a positive picture of your life or anything like that. Or, oh yeah, positive. Okay. Infuse positivity in your surroundings. So is there anything that you do? And I'm going to share some stuff here at my office because I was like, oh dude, I read this book years ago. And it's like, I must have actually put this into my life. What's some stuff that you have that you surround yourself with in your working environment?
It's funny. The only thing that comes to mind immediately, some of you will get this, some of you won't, but just having a clean workspace. Okay, who can relate to that, right? So
yep.
without that kind of clutter, like being able to focus on what it is that you're doing. So I think that's more of negative avoidance than positive gravity, but
I love that.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so I'm gonna share. Here's the geek in me, folks. I'm gonna share with y'all. So this is me being real with you. So look, here's one of mine. Like, I got Yoda here, man. I got Yoda on my desk. He's saying, do or do not. There is no try. So I don't try to recruit. Right? You know what I mean? Yoda is here on my desk. That's a positive thing for me. I love me some Yoda. You know what else is on my desk? Right here. Look at that. That's a picture of my family. That's a picture of my family. I don't want you to have a picture of my family on your desk. I want you to have a picture of your family on your desk. Because every time I make a dial, whether it's recruiting or personal production, I've asked myself for 18 years, are they worth it? Are they worth it? And I've never been able to say no. And I've never been able to go on to the next thing. That's been a power of positive influence in my surroundings. And look, I got that here. Here's another picture I want to share with y'all. This is all on my desk, Val. I didn't even realize I was applying it to life. I must have really, look, and this is all broken. Like, it's not about perfect. It's about what it means to you. That's a picture of my dad. That's a picture of my dad right there. And that's a picture of something Lauren had made for me years ago when I was out in the field and I sucked really bad. And we were watching, what is that? What's that little fish movie?
Dory.
What is it?
Dory.
Finding Nemo.
Finding Nemo.
Yeah. Any parents out there know what I'm talking about. And I was coming back home one night from La Follette, Tennessee, and I got no-showed, and I'm 2 hours away from home, and we got like $400 to our name. And she tells me, just keep swimming, right? Just keep swimming. And, there was no reason for us to go on in this business. I sucked, right? I wasn't good, right? But I said, no, I'm always going to just keep swimming, right? Look, that's here on my desk today. And look too, Val, if you wondered if I applied this to my life, look, there's a little fishy too, man. Right? My dad, I told him I'd never give up. And I didn't. And I just hope that speaks to somebody, because all of you have something. And then look, I got an homage to my maker every day, where there's stuff right here that puts a power of positivity in my life, because that's a spiritual thing for me. And, we all choose different things. I just hope that all of you choose something to put in your surroundings that add value to you, right? That's what my prayer is for that, because, I think if you do, that's a key. And let's talk to this, Val, because I think this is such a key important, because a lot of people wonder why they struggle at different things. And it's like, it's just their thought process. Really, the only difference between people that are successful here and the people that aren't is the way they think. And this is all changing about the way they think, right? So check this out. Less media, negative TV. I gave up watching the news years ago. How many of y'all watch the news and are depressed or mad about it?
I just don't watch the news either.
Right. Some of y'all probably pissed off, right? I would be if I watched the news every day, right? I'd be angry, right? But I don't do it. It's not that I don't care. It's not that I don't pray for the people that are affected. I do. It's just that I know I can positively affect my environment or the people that I come in contact with, living with that poison inside me every day. And so I chose to give it up years ago.
You know what I love about what that portion of the book said? It says it gives us not watching the news. Like if anything's like really, really important, you're going to hear about it, right? But not watching the news actually gives you a more realistic view of the world. Because if you watch the news every single night, you're going to be afraid to walk out your front door, because people that walk out their front door get shot and killed or whatever. You know what I mean? So it's a scary world out there, right? But not watching the news gives you a more realistic view of the world, which is, that one hit me like a ton of bricks. And I've embraced that. I haven't watched the news in forever. It's like, I don't like the little, like I don't watch live TV either. I watch everything DVR so I can skip, the commercials.
Yeah.
What I don't like is at the very end when there's that little snippet of news, like, no, you got to shut it off before that snippet of news comes on. Because it sucks you in. I'll be honest, it sucks you in. There's a high-speed chase, there's a shooting, whatever, like, ooh, you know what I mean? It sucks you in. It's wired that way. Why do you think it's called programming, right? Television programming. When you realize what that is, like, oh my gosh, what are they programming me with?
Right. It's called programming for a reason, folks. I'm just letting you know. It's whatever their agenda is, man. It is what it is. So yeah, man. I just, I hope everybody's out there embracing this book. But what's funny is I didn't realize until I was rereading the book that, hey, I actually did apply those principles to my life. You with me? And I see a positive effect that it's had on my life and my surroundings. And I just, for you folks that haven't embraced that, challenge is, are you willing to embrace it, right? And then apply that to your life and in your business, and see if it doesn't make a difference, right? In your life, in your business, right? So good stuff there, Val. Any last words you want to give on that? I've got something else I want to cover. I'm gonna leave you unmuted for it, for any feedback on that, but anything you want to add there, buddy?
I mean, just to kind of put a bow on it, maybe, is like, when we talk about mindset, the bottom line is this, what it all comes down to. If you think you can, or you think you can't, you're right. Either way. If you think you can, or you think you can't, you're right either way.
That's right, buddy. I'm telling you, it is huge. Let me do this right here. All right. Can you see my screen, Val?
Yep.
So I want to share this, Val. So, all right, we're off the book of the month. We pray you're reading your 10 pages a day before you start your day. And Val, share any of this with me. But I just thought, a lot of people will fool themselves too in recruiting here, right? Because we're talking about building a business, because that helps positivity, because you're adding value to other people's lives. That's a huge thing here, right? And we already have a training platform to get people started. So I really wanted to I was making some notes at like 4:00 this morning and gave it to my wife, and I was like, hey, can you put this in a quick PowerPoint and see if I can make sense of this on the call to some people that I pray it adds value? So I was thinking of the funnel, the process, because you think about recruiting, guys, it all starts with an activity, right? And it's just an activity of really sharing or showing the plan to somebody else. It may be warm market, cold market, but it starts like this and it funnels down, and then it can get you a writer. So, but here's some things that I thought was important for everybody to understand. First, you got to start out with an activity, right? Step one is you got to be doing 10 plus interviews a week to even effectively find you an area where you can have potential to grow from. So that's sort of step one. If you're growing a business here, you're looking at the funnel and you're like, hey, growing a business here is important to me. I see the value in it. I see the value it can bring to others. And so 10 interviews a week. What do you need? Val, you need resources, right, buddy?
Oh yeah, you need a steady flow of applicants, people applying for the position, resources as you first start out might be open up your, it's a maybe daunting thing, but just take it a bite size at a time. It's just how many contacts do you have on your phone? I think I have 2,000 contacts on my phone, all my clients and everybody else.
Exactly. So Warm Market, free resource. So if you're taking notes out there, Warm Market, try check with the Warm Market. Val, were you a Warm Market to me, buddy?
Yes, I was.
4.5 years ago. Has it added any value to your life, sir?
Just a little bit.
Right? You know what I mean? So I'm just like, we all like, why would we hold back? It's not that I talked him into it. It's just I shared a plan with a buddy, and hey, he took advantage of it. A free LinkedIn service that Joe Martinez has taught us. Jared Gillum's been great at sharing it with us. You can Google how to do the business page on LinkedIn. Have you guys seen any advantages of that with your group, Val?
Oh yeah, we really just started diving into that. We're getting tons of responders, and here's a crazy thing too. I love the idea of the free as well. And that's a great place to start, but you can do as little as $5 a day.
Huge.
$5 a day.
Free or $5 a day.
Yeah.
It's amazingly cheap to do that. Facebook, you can do it free. I'm sure there's some paid versions,
right?
But you can go out there. You can get with an agency owner today. They can teach you how to do this stuff, or they can teach you where the resources are to learn how to do this stuff. Zip. I do a lot of Zip. It's a paid account. I invest in it. It gives huge returns. I'm telling you. Would you like a Jeffrey Miller on your team, Val?
Yes.
Zip Recruiter, right? Would you like a Joe Martinez, right?
Definitely.
You know what I mean? Would you like a Mark Newbauer, right?
Yep.
You know what I mean? You think about that organization and just the massive ways that they've been able to build. You just think about that. So resources. Well, here's what will happen if you start to do 10 interviews a week. And I'm just going to walk you through this. I'm not going to take long. You'll probably get about 1 to 2 people in the licensing process, right? It's okay. You're not trying to talk in the world. And you're like, well, I got in 4 this week. Great. I'm happy for you. Typically, it's about 1 to 2. Set an exam date with the people, right? If you want to help your people, it's not enough to do 10 interviews. It's not enough to have resources. It's a specific diagram plan to go out there and build this thing for you and the people you're in business with. Set an exam date. If I have Val Zarn and I'm interviewing him, then if I love him and care about him, I'm going to teach him to have an exam date 7 to 10 days out the day he gets into licensing, right? If you don't care about your agents, don't have them set exam dates, and your business won't grow. 7 to 10 days, right? Why do we do that? It's an 83% pass fail rate. Well, I had an agent do it in 6 days and they failed. Great. You know what they can go do? In 2 days, they can go back and reschedule it and take it again. So they can still get done in the time frame because it's a direct correlation to their success. The longer they wait, the broker they stay, the more likely they're not going to do anything here. After contract back, add to band. Why would you add them to band? Val, why would you add somebody to band?
Just so they can get in real time. I mean, it's positive association is what it boils down to, but obviously real time success across the country, up to date meeting links and all kinds of good stuff. Just feel like they're part of something.
I get to plug them into a walking billboard of our business of Val Zarn, killing it. What'd you make, like 180,000, 188,000, something? You made close to 200 grand with us last year.
188, but who's counting?
but who's counting, right? Right. So you may want, I get to plug them into Elijah Crujo, Jordan Gillum, Mark Newbauer, Joe Martinez, Jeff Miller. It's a walking billboard of my business that if I have them on band, they get to see the success of all these people going out and killing it. Everybody here has the exact same opportunity. The question is, do you take advantage of it? Step 2, after pass state exam, watch dialing Zoom sessions posted on Band Daily. One of our leaders, and I'm pretty sure, Val, everybody that right now is approved to host a dial session makes over $100,000 a year more in their bank account that host a dial session.
For sure.
Yep.
Yeah, no doubt.
Boom. So you have the best
multiple
trainers in the world teaching your people how to do this business. Step 3, license review received from the state, complete fast track, complete and activate section on Summit. Val, tell them about Summit and the gains that they can get from there, buddy.
Oh my gosh, just like about walk through, just start to finish, like nuts and bolts of how to do stuff. I mean, that's I love what they can get from it. And I love it's very systematized, but I also love what it does for us from a building standpoint, right?
Oh,
Takes so much off our plates.
it's
We get texts
exactly
all the time.
buddy.
This person completed this section. This person completed that section. It's amazing.
Hey, I'm telling you, it's such an awesome tool to help train people from the best and brightest in this industry. And, it's just good stuff. You order leads. Good part is Activate on Summit's going to teach you how to order leads, right, Val? You know what I mean? There's a perfect part in there that teaches you that. Important tips. Have them use an activity tracker. And guess what? Val, what me and you do all last year? You grew your business last year. What do we do every Monday?
Oh, huddle up every Monday, right?
We had a huddle up every Monday. What'd you have available for me?
My activity sheet. As far as
every single week
Yeah.
last year, right? We met at 1:00, right,
Yep.
sir?
And we grew 77% last year. I love that number.
Right.
77%.
So you just get with your mentor, you use an activity tracker. And if your mentor doesn't have you, say, hey, mentor, can you have me do an activity tracker and help hold me accountable? Ask them that. Guarantee they'll love you for it. Have them do that, right? Get them to regional meetings. It's not enough to recruit a person. Remember, it's recruiting, engagement, and lead distribution are the three major quantities that leads to success here. Get them to regional meetings. Why would we get somebody to a regional meeting, Val?
Oh, I mean, it becomes real at that point because this is as good as it gets for a lot of people day to day, but we have these rare opportunities to actually get together and see each other, rub elbows. If you know what I mean? I would say, Chris, if you're not a hugger, let me know, put out your fist because I'll bump it. You know what I mean? But I mean, having that, relationships are built on frequency and proximity, right? We can see each other frequently every day on our huddle ups, right? But I mean, as far as proximity, it's not the same, right? To get around actual fire, you want to get hot, you want to get heat, get around the fire. You want to get cold, stay away.
Val, when you started, sir, where do you live at?
Southern California.
Where do I live?
Tennessee.
How many times did you see me in your first 10 months you worked here?
Oh my gosh, was it 7? It was a lot.
I think I made, out of 10 months, I made 8 trips to California to come see you and do meetings with you.
That sounds about right.
Right?
Yeah.
You know why? Because we care about the people we're in business with, and that counts for all you guys. And now here's the thing. If you're out there and I want a big business, and I'd be like, well, you recruiting people. How many times you went to see the people you've recruited? Right? So make sure relationships matter, right? Val, people come first. Right,
Absolutely.
sir?
Absolutely.
Hey, what does SLO stand for, buddy? What's a key ingredient for SLO?
San Luis Obispo. Just kidding. Standing lead order. Here it's called slow as
bring out San Luis Obispo or whatever on me. So it's standing lead order. If you care about your agents, teach them to do a standing lead order. Why would we have them do a standing lead order, Val? Have you had a standing lead order since like 4 years ago?
Oh, since the very, very beginning. Yeah. It creates consistency and accountability, right? So it's about, when we talk about resources and activity, you have to have steady resources. Without steady resources, it's going to go up and down. But like almost that self-imposed pressure. It's like, I got to process these leads this week because guess what? I got more leads coming next week. So it's a beautiful thing having a stand lead order, and it's intentional, it's systematic. It makes the lows a little bit not so low. You know what I mean? It just kind of levels out this curve that we go through by just having consistency.
I love it, buddy. That's exactly what it does. And then Val, I know me and you are buddies and everything, but if you've never been to conference, man, and saw the big picture, it'd been hard for even me to portray what this company could do for you and your family, correct?
Oh, absolutely. Here's the thing, like we can see this, even if you've been to a small meeting, you got a good picture of what this is, but going to conference, it's like they pull back the curtain and you go, oh my gosh, we got a touch of that, at our virtual summit, and being in person around 5,000 other people that are rowing in the same direction. The energy, we talk about positive energy in the room. It builds your belief. It builds everything. Like if you believe that I would give you $50,000 a check at the end of the week, if you wrote $10,000 in business this week, if you believe that, right? What would you not do? What would you not do to write $10,000 this week for me to write you a check for 50,000 at the end of the week. There's very little you wouldn't do if Chris, if you believed I was going to actually write the check.
Exactly. Buddy.
It all comes down to belief, right?
And you know what? It goes back to the book we just read. It goes back to what we're reading in the book. If you register for the next conference at August 17th through the 19th, you have something to look forward to, right? And so if you have something to look forward to and you're in a business, your brain will figure out how to make everything work. However, if you do not go ahead and register for conference, you don't have anything to look forward to, right? You're living each day with a choice, whether to keep doing it or not, right? And that choice will always wear you out, and it'll wear you out of this business. So if you're a new agent, I care about you, register August 17th through 19th for the conference. Go ahead and get it done, hit the dump button, and then reverse engineer with your agency owner or key leader or whoever's mentoring you on how to gain success between here and there.
It all starts with, because as we know, and I'm preaching to the choir here, right? But it all starts with the decision. The amount of energy that's released when you make a decision, it's kind of like you get in the habit of going to the gym, right? So you get up and you go to the gym without thinking about it. I've never gone to the gym and regretted it, right? So I can guarantee you can go to conference and not regret it. So just don't worry about how you're going to get there, what it's going to cost. Don't worry about any of that stuff. Just go online, register, you go, okay, great. I've made this decision. Then everything else will kind of fall into place. It's amazing how kind of the universe is going to align in your favor when you make that decision.
I love it. And then the last thing on here under important tips, and thank you, Lauren Cook, for writing this up and from my notes here at 4 o'clock this morning, repeat the process. So then if I care about that person, Val, Val, when I talked to you about this business, one thing that I wanted to really impress upon you, because I cared about you, wanted a different life for your family, is like, dude, don't come here to be a personal producer. Come here to personal produce, because you got to pay for your now income. What's something that I spoke into your life at that time?
Oh, day one, like building a business, building a legacy.
Right. And guess what? That means you repeat this process for people that you care about in the business that you're bringing on. If I'm teaching somebody to recruit, it's because I care about them and I want the best for their future. It means their future has a permanent process to it. If I don't, I teach them to personally produce, and that's all they're going to do is see temporary success up or down, and they don't actually ever build anything for their family. So if you have somebody that's speaking into your life that's saying, hey, the reason we're teaching you here is because we're wanting long-term success and we care about you. The reason they're doing that, folks, because they truly care about you and your family's future, and they want to see a better life for you, right? They're passing on the wisdom that somebody gave them originally. And so this is all you do. This is all you do. You repeat these processes, and then you find people that will repeat that process with you. Because if I am doing 10 interviews a week and I hire Val doing 10 interviews a week, my business is now doing 20 interviews a week. I'm hiring 2 people a week. Now Val's hiring 2 people a week. That's 4 people a week that we're hiring as an organization. Val hires a buddy or somebody else to his thing. We're doing 30. We're hiring 6 people a week. I hire another person because I'm duplicating effort on my end, right? We're doing what? 40 interviews a week. We're hiring 8 people a week. That's how this business can grow like wildfire. And it only stops if there's a leader somewhere in that process or somebody that refuses to do those processes. And if they do, you're not mad at them. You care about them. You love them. You pray they change. You refer them to a book that hopefully they have some plasticity in their brain, which they will someday change. But at the same time, you go find your person that will do it with you. And then you repeat the process. And that, folks, is how you go out and build you a huge organization. So, Val Zarn, I appreciate you being on the hot seat with me today, sir.
Yeah, bud. Thanks for
having me. Man. All right. AOs, we got a quick call after this. I'm going to send you out a new link. Everybody, you guys have a great week. Let's go out and kill it again. Appreciate it, everybody.
See you guys.